The Gigabyte M27Q surprised us in terms of image quality and its array of features for a 1440p monitor. We're happy to share our findings with all of you, as some of them are pretty interesting. Hi, I'm Adam, a tester here at Ratings.com, where we help you find the best product for your needs. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for the latest videos, or you can check out our website for the full review. The Gigabyte M27Q utilizes a 1440p 170Hz 27-inch IPS display. It's a great gaming monitor with its low input lag, outstanding response time, and high refresh rate. It can also be used as a home office monitor or for media creation, thanks to a variety of additional features. These include a picture-in-picture, picture-by-picture mode, a USB-C port with DisplayPort Alt mode, and a KVM switch that lets you control two devices with your mouse and keyboard. What we'll be looking at today is the design of the monitor, and then move on to picture quality. Afterwards, we'll examine the color gradient and text clarity along with supported resolutions and gaming performance. We will also touch on some additional features this monitor has. Finally, we'll finish by comparing it to other competing models on the market. If you'd like to skip straight to our test results, then see the links in the description below. We tested the Gigabyte M27Q 27-inch gaming monitor, and it's the only size available. There are many monitors in Gigabyte's non-Aorus lineup. Please note that this is in fact different from the G27Q, but we will be comparing them in this video. You can visit our website to see our list of some of the variants. Starting off with the design, the Gigabyte M27Q resembles the G27Q a lot. The screen is flat with a thin body and thin borders on three of its sides. The build quality is good. It's made completely out of plastic but remains sturdy. The stand is V-shaped and flat. It can take up some real estate on your desk, so do keep this in mind. It doesn't swivel, and you can't easily switch it into portrait or landscape. You could, however, unscrew the monitor from the mount and flip it in order to switch the orientation. The back of the monitor is identical to the G27Q minus the KVM switch. Wall mount type is VESA 100x100, but there is no quick release feature to remove the stand for VESA mounting. Let's move on to inputs. The input selection here is good, with a DisplayPort 1.2, two HDMI 2.0s, two USB 3.0s, and a USB-B upstream port. It includes a USB-C port as well. Its intended use is for the built-in KVM switch. Let's check out this KVM switch, as it's a unique and useful feature. It allows you to use one set of mouse and keyboard, but control two devices. This is achieved by plugging your peripherals into the USB 3.0 ports on the monitor itself, and then connecting your device via the USB-C port on the back side of the monitor. Clicking the KVM button allows you to toggle controls between the two devices. The USB-C port also supports DisplayPort Alt mode for those whose PCs are compatible with it. You see, we've solved the age-old feud between Apple and Microsoft. Now they can both play nice and get along via the KVM. It can even support power delivery, though we aren't sure of the wattage as we did not test for it. The KVM is built right into the monitor. This can be useful for content creators, programmers, gamers, and more. The controls are found at the back of the monitor. It consists of a single joystick that allows you to navigate the menu with ease. Here, you can change the usual aspects of picture quality and even enable picture-in-picture or picture-by-picture modes. Now we'll move on to the picture quality. We'll be comparing to currently available monitors, but competing models may change as new monitors are released throughout the year. For an updated comparison with new models as we buy and test them, see the review page on our website, which is linked below. Let's start with the contrast ratio. Contrast ratio is the difference between the darkest black and the brightest white that a screen can display, and is considered one of the most important aspects of picture quality. A high contrast ratio will give deeper looking image and prevent blacks from looking gray in a dark room. As this is an IPS panel, we expected it to have mediocre contrast ratios. In this case, 1184:1. This made blacks appear more on the gray side in dark environments. We measured a slightly higher ratio compared to the advertised 1000:1, but this can vary between units. If you own this monitor and have measured its contrast ratio on your own, let us know how yours compares. Now on to local dimming. Unfortunately, the M27Q does not support local dimming, which would otherwise help to produce deeper dark areas. This is normal for most monitors though. Now on to viewing angles. The M27Q has great viewing angles in both vertical and horizontal planes. If you're one to share content with colleagues or while at home with family and friends, this monitor can be a great option for you. This monitor is also good for content creators as the colors won't be shifting on the edges of the display. Another aspect of viewing experience is reflection handling. This can matter for those who work or game in bright areas. Overhead lighting and direct sunlight can negatively affect your viewing experience. In the case of the M27Q, it does have a matte screen, which helps with the reflection handling. However, you may notice in this case that there may be issues with glare due to direct sunlight. Thankfully, the screen does get bright enough to mitigate some of the glare. One area that our M27Q seemed to struggle in is with black uniformity. Our unit's black uniformity was subpar, but of course, this can vary between units. Ours seemed to have a bluish gray tone to it, with backlight bleed being visible along the top and bottom of the edges. This is only completely visible during dark scenes within a dark room. Let's take a look at peak brightness. If you plan on using this monitor in a bright environment, like an office, then it's important to have high peak brightness. In SDR, we noticed a great peak brightness on the M27Q. During our tests, we actually found our unit scored higher than the advertised 350 nits. Ours achieved around 423 nits. This again goes back to the monitor performing well against glare. This also can vary from one unit to the next. On the flip side, the HDR peak brightness was only decent, achieving 443 nits, which is to be expected as it is certified display HDR 400. If you're planning to game in HDR with this monitor, it can bring out some of the highlights in your content, but don't expect it to get much better than an SDR. Looking at pre and post color calibration now, our unit had outstanding color accuracy right out of the box. The minor inaccuracies in color and shades of gray wouldn't even be visible to the naked eye. Color temperatures were very close to our 6500 Kelvin target, with a slight cooler look to it. The gamma does follow the sRGB curve well, but the dark scenes do appear to be darker than they should. You can find the ICC profile and calibration settings in the full review on the website, linked in the description below. Do note though that these settings are specific to our unit and should not be copied, as calibration does vary between units. Next, let's take a look at the color gamut and volume. In SDR, the M27Q covers the entire sRGB color gamut with near full coverage Adobe RGB color space. We found this monitor to have one of the highest Adobe RGB coverage in a monitor we've tested to date. This is a huge win for photo editors who choose to work in this color gamut. In HDR, the color gamut again has great coverage of the commonly used DCI-P3 color space and does decently well in wider Rec 2020. I'd like to mention that with its 8-bit FRC panel, the M27Q has exceptional gradient handling and can achieve 10-bit thanks to its FRC. Gradient handling is how finely levels of color can be displayed, like details in shadows or skin tones. Some minor banding in the grays were noted during testing, but shouldn't be noticeable in most content. Let's move on to text clarity and pixels. To start, this monitor has BGR subpixels when it's in its native orientation, versus the standard RGB. What this means is that subpixels are arranged from left to right in blue, green, and red. This can cause minor text clarity issues with software that expects to read the more standard red, green, blue layout. Even still, the text clarity is good. If you wish to hear more about our findings and our workarounds, stick around as I'll go into a bit more detail. If this doesn't concern you too much, you can skip this part and jump to the response time. So, it is possible to hedge against the text blur by properly configuring Windows ClearType to BGR. This solution only works with programs that use Windows ClearType. Even with these settings, apps that ignore Windows ClearType, like Google Chrome, will continue to show slightly blurred text. Another solution is to flip the monitor upside down and then change the display orientation. What this does is turns the monitor into an RGB panel. Thankfully, it's easy to do with the included stand, and it will fix the issue with the text rendering. You might be asking yourselves, who would use the screen upside down? And does this even work? My simple answer is, I'm not sure, and yes, it actually does. You might also be asking, won't it look weird? And my answer would be, depends who you ask, I guess. This solution comes with a couple of downsides. Firstly, you'll have an upside down monitor. The OSD will also be upside down. Secondly, we notice a drawback in gaming performance because the input lag increases to about 15.1 milliseconds at 170 Hertz. This is versus the 3.2 milliseconds we acquired in its standard orientation. Another thing we noted is VRR doesn't work properly either. The monitor acts as if it's in like a pseudo VSync mode that can't be disabled. We noticed there's no screen tearing in games even with the VRR and VSync disabled. We aren't exactly sure what's going on here, and this behavior isn't limited to just the monitor. We got similar results with other monitors and AMD graphics cards, so we suspect it has something to do with the process of flipping the image upside down that's causing these issues. If you have any insight on what's going on here, please reach out to us. We'd love to get a better understanding of this phenomenon. Overall, flipping the screen upside down can work in office setting, but can adversely affect a gaming experience. If you do have further concerns, you can check out our article about this on our website, linked right here. Looking at the response time at the max 170Hz refresh rate, we averaged a total response time of 8.4 milliseconds, which is superb. Gamers should be very happy to hear this. Its motion handling is pretty remarkable, even at 60 Hz. The monitor performed equally well. The recommended overdrive setting in both 60 Hz and 170 Hz is the picture quality setting, which indicates well-tuned response times throughout the refresh rate range. Let's take a quick look at BFI, or black frame insertion. Monitors and TVs use BFI to reduce eye tracking blur in scenes. The M27Q does have the BFI feature, but take note that it cannot be enabled in VRR. For our gamers, let's go over what you'd expect for input lag on this monitor. You're looking at 3.2 milliseconds in its native resolution. Not too shabby. So, overall, the M27Q is an affordable and capable monitor for many different uses. Gamers will love it for its low input lag, high refresh rate, and really good response times. Media creators and home office users can easily take advantage of the KVM switch, allowing them to control multiple devices at the same time under one hood. It performed very well in picture quality and color space, especially in Adobe RGB coverage. Gigabyte created a strong product that fills out its own niche, but there are few other monitors to compare to. We can't speak about the M27Q without mentioning the G27Q. These monitors are identical in the way that they look, minus the KVM switch at the back. The M27Q boasts a 170Hz refresh rate, which is higher than the 144Hz found on the G27Q. The M27Q has a much quicker response time at 60Hz, resulting in minimal motion blur. It also has great SDR color gamut and color accuracy, making it a good choice for content creators. The G27Q does not get affected by the BGR stuff that affected the M27Q, as it's a native RGB subpixel panel. For those aiming to use this monitor in office or for content creation, the M27Q is a strong contender. One of the bigger downsides to the monitor is its ergonomics. When comparing to something like the Dell S2721 DGF, which has really good ergonomics, the M27Q seems to fall short. On a positive note, the KVM switch is a nice addition for those who tend to use multiple devices but wish they can control them with a single set of keyboard and mouse. Well, that's it, folks. So, what do you think of the Gigabyte M27Q? Have you bought it? Let us know what you think below. Also, we're currently hiring in our offices in Montreal for various positions. So, if you want to help people find the best product for their needs, have a look at this careers page on our website. You can check out all the measurements on our website. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel, or become an insider on our website for access to our latest results first. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.